Spring storm season is here. Be prepared. Join meteorologist Chuck Taylor with the Storm Team Spring Survival Guide. Tomorrow at 5:30 on WHAS 11, Kentuckiana's News Channel. This is Kentuckiana's 24-hour news channel, WHAS 11. Live at 11 from the leader in television news, Gary Rodemeyer, Melissa Swan, and Chuck Taylor. This is Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
If they don't grab this brass ring on May 3rd, Crawford County could just slide right down into the Ohio River and you'll never know it.
Next week, voters will know if they'll grab the ring of riverboat gambling. In Crawford and Harrison counties, the question is, how will you vote on the boat?
There are a lot of people in Harrison County who oppose gambling, and particularly riverboat gambling.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Melissa Swan.
And I'm Gary Rodemeyer. 1 week from tonight, we will know if riverboat gambling will come to some more southern Indiana communities. And we will also know if a tactic used by the pro-gambling forces is working. Now, this flyer is being passed out in Harrison County. It claims that gambling can solve that area's financial problems with money from the Kentucky side of the river. The flyer reads, "Let Louisville pave our roads, build our schools, provide us with 800 jobs, and keep our taxes from getting any higher." The pro-gambling folks say most gamblers will come to Harrison County from Louisville. But the anti-gambling people say it's just another effort at deception in the long campaign on riverboat gambling.
We found nationally that for every $1 that's bet, it takes 3 tax dollars to keep the gambling operations going. And so we don't know how they can make those promises. And the figures don't add up.
And tonight, more than 100 people opposed to gambling turned out for a last rally in Corydon. This is the last big meeting before the election that comes up next Tuesday, May the 3rd. Riverboat gambling is also on the ballot next door in Crawford County, Indiana.
Voters must decide if a new hotel complex and casino are right for their picturesque communities, which are also among the poorest in Indiana. The boat would be located in Leavenworth, Indiana, just 40 miles west of Louisville. Tonight, our Lisa Chiava reports on the low-key approach to winning votes there.
Look long enough at the setting sun in Crawford County. You'd see the Ohio look like shimmering gold. And it's a gold rush in this water that some folks see when they think a riverboat casino could soon join the barges on the river. What are people saying around town about it?
They're going for it.
With the election just a week away, it's not easy to tell who's winning. There are just a few yard signs around town.
I think Crawford County people realize we need it more. We don't have enough industry. Nothing really in Crawford County.
That's why the Robertsons came up with their own yard sign, a homemade sign, just the kind of thing Casino Magic wants to see.
Our campaign has been a down-home approach, just really one-on-one with the local people.
Casino Magic knows the glitzy pro-gambling approach used in Floyd and Clark counties didn't work, so Casino Magic moved in town and blended in, with no TV ads, no radio ads.
No pizzazz. Our company is not pizzazz.
Oh, I don't agree with the gambling folks.
That folksy attitude doesn't impress folks like the Myers.
Because we feel that it will bring a lot of bad influence to the county. The gangsters and prostitutes.
Stay back.
Now, those kind of strong opinions will not likely change over the next week, and Casino Magic isn't even going to try. It's no hard sell approach. It's a strategy that they had to meet with the people in town meetings and stress economic development. Melissa?
So this vote doesn't automatically mean that they will get the vote.
Right. The Indiana Gaming Commission must give the final okay, even if people vote yes, and that's the way it's going to work across Indiana.
Why do these casino operators think that people in Crawford County would be any different than those in Floyd and Clark who voted it down?
People on both sides of the issue will tell you that Crawford County does need it more than any other county in the state. When Indiana lists counties in terms of wealth, Crawford is either at the bottom or second to last on those listings. People need jobs.
All right. Thank you very much, Lisa. As we have said, Crawford and Harrison counties vote on riverboat gambling next week. So do the voters in Jefferson County, Indiana, that's Madison. To find out if the gambling boats will be docked in southern Indiana, stay with the News Channel election night. As soon as the numbers start coming in, we'll bring them to you. We'll have full reports at 6 and 11, as well as updates on the returns throughout the night. That's election night in Indiana, May 3rd.
A promotional flight this morning for the great balloon race almost ended in tragedy. A balloon carrying a well-known pilot, a radio disc jockey, and a third passenger crashed into high power lines. The balloon basket dangled in life or death jeopardy along the power lines on Interstate 64. It is the worst possible end to a hot air balloon flight, one that is most times fatal to passengers. In his hospital bed, pilot Mike Kirk told of surviving while tears filled his eyes.
You know, people have died in the same identical situation.
You were standing there all that time, and you were so, from the ground, it was just like, he just seems like he's, I mean, you just didn't move.
Well, once we were tied off, I felt, you know, well, nothing can happen to us here. And then plus they told the fire guys, got the power turned off. You know, they did a great job doing that. I got to thank all those guys.
Rescue crews surrounded the crash scene while Kirk and passengers John Ramsey and Deborah Sheehan waited for rescue inside the basket. They had been told they had a 2.5-hour window for the flight, but a storm moved in too quickly. The pilot headed for a field near Oxmoor, but the strong wind forced him down.
And it was just driving us down into these lines. And at first, you know, I began to burn, just instinctively. You know, it looked like we were going to clear it by 20 feet where I planned to clear it by 50 feet. But, you know, it intensified the downdraft as we got nearer, and it was just a bad spot to happen to hit a downdraft.
But the basket hit the top line, a line with no power, and Kirk was able to tie off the balloon. The bottom of the basket was singed by its brush with the power lines, but the straps held.
Those Kevlar cables, as strong as they are, could have severed easily under high voltage contact, and then the whole basket could have just fallen to the ground and really injured or killed someone.
The basket held, and rescue crews in a cherry picker brought the passengers down from their perch 10 stories above the ground. The flight was over, but several other balloon pilots would say this was no day to be flying. Pilot Mike Kirk suffered burns to his arm, his forehead, and eyes in the crash. Passenger Deborah Sheehan has an injured hand, and John Ramsey a sore back. They were all treated this morning at Baptist East Hospital. And a UPS flight crew is safe tonight after making an emergency landing at Standiford Field today. From the air, you can see the emergency vehicles surrounding the big jet. The 757 landed shortly after takeoff when a light indicated there was a fire in the engine. Well, there was no fire, just a short in the indicator light. The jet landed without incident.